Hello everybody, welcome back to the Collector's Vault. My name's Mike, and I have a bit of a surprise for you guys. It's the Vault. I actually thought it'd be good to bring out the Vault for you guys. And let's see what's in the Vault for today's video. I don't want you seeing the secret code. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Oh man, this thing's cheap. Here we go. And, oh, what have we here? Well, it appears that we have some fossil cards. I think that would be a good topic for today's video. Basically wrapping up the last bit of the first trilogy of Pokemon booster sets. We started off with the actual base set, then Jungle, and now we're going to finish up with Fossil. The Fossil set was actually released back in October of 1999, I believe, and it was mainly notable for having focusing on a lot of legendary Pokemon and like semi-legendary Pokemon. Most notably would be something like Dragonite. It also included all 3 of the legendary birds. Zapdos was actually included in base set, so it did get reprinted. I think it was just so that way it would, you know, kind of go along with Moltres and Articuno. I'll put them over here. Nah, you guys see them. There they go. Now, the Fossil set, just like the Jungle set, it included the rest of the missing Pokemon from the first 150. So it also, similar to Jungle, included Pokemon that were evolutions of other Pokemon that were in the earlier sets. Notably would be Hypno, because there was a Drowsy in the base set, but there was no Hypno, so we finally got Hypno. Drowsy was not in the Fossil set. We have a reprint of Haunter, which is, even though it's, you know, redundant, but it is kind of cool because this is a holo rare Haunter. And there's one thing people were very happy about was that they actually completed the very disappointing evolution chain of Ghastly and Haunter in the base set by finally printing Gengar in the set. He's definitely a fan favorite. He's also one of my favorite. I unfortunately do not have a first edition Gengar on me. And another one that it actually they included Dragonite finally, completing the very disappointing Dragon line in the base set too. How we had Dratini and Dragonair and no Dragonite, but we finally got a Dragonite. Again, unfortunately, I do not have a first edition Dragonite on me right now, so I can't quite show you how amazing it is. But especially Dragonite and Gengar, these were some of the big cards that were just they were highly sought after, along with the legendary birds. Ooh, get some light in there. There we go. Get this vault out of here. We're done with you. And these cards just looked amazing. I thought the artwork was amazing. Dragonite especially just has a really cool like rainbow background that just complemented that like cutesy look of Dragonite. But oh man, there's something else. There were a couple other notable like reprints for the Fossil set. As we mentioned, Haunter was reprinted. Zapdos was reprinted. Here's actually a couple samples of my cards that I might be sitting at the PSA. There's nothing truly special about these. I think these are just really good specimens that might get a 10, or at the very least a 9. So Raichu was actually reprinted in the Fossil set. It's kind of funny because Pikachu was reprinted in the Jungle set, in case I forgot to mention that. Raichu was given a reprint as a rare and a holo rare. I actually might have a holo rare to show you guys.
3 hours later.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. I kept this not in the vault. So, yeah. Beautiful first ed Raichu. It's kind of funny because this Raichu is actually like really like kind of overpowered if you look at it. Like 90 HP, that's actually pretty high for a Raichu, especially back in the older sets. So yeah, Raichu was a notable Pokemon to get a reprint. They actually reprinted a Magneton as well. Magnemite was not in the Fossil set, but they did reprint Magneton, I guess just because they wanted to somehow fill in the gaps for a lack of cards, because this set did have the smallest card count among base, Jungle, and Fossil. It did, however, have 3 trainer cards. The Jungle set only had 1. It was a Pokeball. Jungle set actually has... Let me see if I can grab them for you.
6.5 hours later.
Actually, I was mistaken. The jungle set actually included 5 trainer cards. I honestly don't really know if any of these really stand out. Mr. Fuji's kind of cool. Has some kind of cute artwork. These are just generic cards. Recycled has Jigglypuff on it. Oh, poor little Jigglypuff. No one likes her. And the really cool thing was the mysterious fossil card that actually was introduced. It was basically a trainer card that was a Pokemon, I believe, because it did have an HP count. And this was used to actually evolve into the fossil Pokemon, like Kabuto and Ammonite. So that's kind of neat. So, as we're going through this little thing, I'll talk about it. This is actually a really nice Gengar, a really nice Horner that I actually want to send out the PSA. But as I mentioned, it did introduce legendary birds as well as fossil Pokemon. This set does have Aerodactyl, Kabuto, and Ammonite, and their evolved forms, Amistar and Kabutops. Amistar, unfortunately, was only uncommon, but Kabutops got the Hollow treatment. And I must say that although it was very disappointing that Amistar, let me see if I can get it for you. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I didn't have these cards out to begin with. Ugh. Here we go. So, they brought in the popular fossil Pokemon, and unfortunately Amistar was only given the uncommon and unhollow treatment. Kabuto did come with a hollow version and a non-hollow rare version. He actually looks really sick. I like this Kabuto. So, yeah, while the fossil set did finally conclude the first 150 Pokemon, the only Pokemon that it didn't include, or I guess the only Pokemon that it left out, was Mew. And I believe Mew was released as a promo later after the first movie came out. But Fossil did conclude the first 150 Pokemon set. It was kind of a really iconic time because it was finally when, if you ever wanted to make a collection where you have all 150 Pokemon in numerical order, like not by the set numbers, kind of like as we talked about before, but if you go like Bulbasaur is number 1, and then so on and so forth, and you end with Mewtwo being 150, this set can actually let you do an actual 150 Pokemon set as part of your collection, which is pretty cool. But unfortunately, I don't really know if there's anything notable as far as reprints like Jungle. The only thing I can think of, and it's not really like a misprint, but I do know of a really unusual card that I have, but I can't find it for this video, and I feel really bad. There is a Kabuto that is, I don't think it's a first set. I think it, as far as I know, it's only for the unlimited version, and please someone correct me. But Kabuto does have a little Wizards of the Coast gold stamp in the right side of it. And again, I had one of these. It wasn't in good shape, but I did have one, and I wish I had it to show you guys, because it was kind of cool. And that's really the only, like, notable, I wouldn't even say, like, a misprint, but the only, like, notable, like, unique card in the set. I think Zapdos actually might have had a misprint, and I will have to get back to you guys on that. I believe it was, I don't recall if it was only for the holo versions, or if it was only for the first edition versions or not, but I believe that there was a Zapdos that had a, actually, you know what, holy crap, I actually have one. Okay, wow, I did not realize I had this. This is actually, I think, one of those misprints where there is a missing part of the hologram in this top corner right here. If you might realize, some Pokemon, like take Roger, for example, who's an evolved Pokemon of Pikachu, they have their earlier stages here in the top left corner. Zapdos is, you know, he's a legendary Pokemon which don't have, like, earlier evolution forms, at least to my knowledge, none of them do, even the newer Pokemon. But I believe the Zapdos actually has part of his hologram missing right here. Again, I can't believe I did not know this actually was one of those samples. If you look at it, this design right here, see here, it's a little, like, faded. Here's all holofoil. This is not holofoil, because I believe the misprint was that It's actually made for this. See how this Raichu is actually like technically the hollow foil ends right here where this little stage symbol would be printed. I believe that's what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be where a stage stamp would be printed, and it never was because Zapdos would never have one. So here's a little bit of a notable like misprint, I guess you want to call it. Again, I feel kind of funny because I never knew I had that. Huh. All right. Well, you all learned something. I just learned something. I learned that I don't look at my cards close enough. All right. Well, I hope you guys learned something today. So quick things to recap is that, again, Fossil was a 82 card set, or I'm sorry, 62 card set. The smallest set among base, Fossil, and Jungle. They did have the, first edition and unlimited print runs. They did not have a shadowless print run, just like Jungle. It was only in the base set. Fossil set was not the end of the first generation of Pokemon as far as the cards went. After the Fossil set, they actually continued expanding on the first 150 Pokemon by doing mainly reprints. And the next set we're going to be looking at is the Team Rocket set, and it actually introduces the dark version of cards. And so we'll get into that later. But for now, if you guys have any questions or something that I didn't answer about the Fossil set, please put it down in the comments, and I will do my best to get back to you. I hope you all learned something today. And so, yeah, guys, take it easy.